Okay, YouTubers, we're down to torquing the cylinder heads on the 350 overhaul. Heads are fully assembled. I did use my cordless drill and I lapped in all the valves until I had a nice smooth band of seal. Like if you've ever lapped valves, you'll know what I'm talking about when you look at the valve face and the face of the seat and the head. Once you get that real nice even band all the way around the seat and all the way around the valve, you'll know you'll have a good strong seat. These cylinder heads are assembled with 550 lift springs set up at 1.750. They're going to be running around 125. Probably once they run in, I would imagine to be somewhere around 120, 125 on the seat, which is way more than he'll ever need with that factory roller cam. But I wanted to set these up, because hydraulic roller lifters are really heavy, so I like to run a little bit more seat pressure and open pressures on the hydraulic roller engines. If this engine ever sees a performance hydraulic roller cam, he can go all the way up to a 550 net lift. You know, whether that be 1.5 or 1.6 rocker arms, he can run up to a net 550 lift. He has enough spring to handle it. He has the retainers to positive seal clearance setup to handle that as well. Those cylinder heads are assembled with Ferrara one-piece stainless steel 202 160 valves. So it's a really strong setup for basically any kind of a street strip type engine. This is, again, going in a daily driver, so it'll probably only see that low 400s lift hydraulic roller cam. But I wanted to make sure he had plenty of valve spring to have trouble-free operation, which also will not give him any problems with valve float. You know, if he revs it over 5,000, 5,500 RPM, it's not going to have any issues whatsoever controlling the lifters. I do always use as a standard operating procedure for my builds, I always use hardened steel locks for the valves. That's just the way I always do things, and I have a story about that, but I'm not going to share right now. Anytime you're sealing your head bolts or studs, if you're running head studs or head bolts, get you some of this. This is, I don't even care about what name brand, but they call it a number 2 gasket sealant. This stuff runs like $4 a tube at O'Reilly's. I guarantee you, that stuff has been used for decades for cylinder head bolts or cylinder head studs, and they don't leak. You're not going to have leakage past those threads when you use this number 2 gasket sealant. I wanted to show you guys, I went around, what I did was I followed I think they call it the spiral. I followed the spiral, ran all the bolts down with my little 1/4-inch impact driver, then came back through, followed the pattern, torqued everything to 25 foot-pounds. Now I have the torque wrench set to 50 foot-pounds on our way to 65 foot-pounds. So basically what we're going to do, just follow that little spiral pattern and you'll see how it works its way out little by little. Where I was at. I'm watching this engine stand moving more than I thought it would. Bolt back in we don't have a oopsie moment. I'll just start. If you get lost, just start back where you were, because it's a really fast 2 pattern. 3, 4, 5. Small block Chevy has 17 head bolts. Sometimes I sit here and count them, sometimes I don't. But you get the idea where you start, or I start. You know, the pattern will show you in most of your rebuild books, but you start here, get your slow torque, and then I go clockwise. That's just how I've always done it. I don't know if any of the other little patterns go a different direction or what, but there we go. Every once in a while you get that bolt that kind of feels loose, or you know, if you've ever worked on an engine long enough to snap a bolt, you'll get a weird feeling in your stomach when you start torquing a bolt and you get to that point where you think it should be clicking and it's not clicking, so then you start thinking, oh, please don't snap off that stupid block. These are once used ARP, or I'm sorry, not ARP, Felpro head bolts. So I am running them only for the second time because I know they're in good shape. I don't have to worry about them. But I've seen that happen several times, and it is a true heartbreak when you start torquing down a cylinder head and end up running into a problem, stripping a bolt, snapping a bolt. A lot of things can go wrong depending on how high of a torque you're running. Final torque on these small block Chevy heads is 65 foot-pounds. So basically we just did start out impact driver 25, 50. So now I'll go through and hit them all at 65 pounds. See, like right there, stupid tool wasn't on 100%. You start pushing into it, all of a sudden, see right there, that feels weird. Like when you're on this thing, just make sure my tool is on here 100%, and you're starting to pull on it, it has that double clicked it like I'm not supposed to, but man, that head bolt kind of had me scared for a second. But one thing is I've got this extension on here, which I probably don't even need. I just hate to hit my knuckles on valve springs when I'm torquing the heads. Which sounds petty, but once you've done it a few times, you'll know it's It's not the best feeling in the world. But just follow your spiral. They call it spiral. I think some people call it spiral in out or something like that. Just follow your little pattern. And they want you to do it in small increments. Don't just do it in 2, or God forbid, 1. So that would be horrible. Okay, it causes a lot of undue stress on those head bolts and the cylinder head itself, trying to torque these things without doing the proper, break it down into, like I use close to 25-pound increments as I can, because I want to make sure there's no chance of any kind of warping issue, undue fatigue on the fasteners, the head bolt, the gasket, nothing. That thing wants to fight you. Damn old motors. I want to fight you every chance they get. Even from just getting the tool on it. When you get it on there good and snug, pull it towards you. I think you guys kind of see how this works. And don't worry, I will run through the final torque on these head bolts at least 2 or 3 times. Because I don't know, part of it's my commitment to making sure everything's 100% the way it should be. And other people might call it OCD, but I double and triple check everything because I want to make sure there's no surprises. I want to make sure that everything was built or assembled within specification, and that it turns out to be a good motor for me, the customer, whoever. That way they can never come back on me and go, well, hey, you did this wrong, or, I can say, well, I know I did it the best I could, and I did it the way it was supposed to be done, so I don't know. That's just the way it is. Because, mechanical machines can fail and do fail. So all you can really do is just make you a list, pick the best way you can find or that you've done yourself to work on something, and just do it the best you can. I mean, nobody's perfect. God knows these stupid engines will just decide to take a crap on you at any time. Even if you take good care of it, keep the fluids changed, don't rev the sack off of it, somehow stuff can just go bad. But I feel like this is going to be a good heavy duty build for a daily driver. Hopefully will make enough power to put a smile on his face, and should get pretty decent gas mileage. I wouldn't imagine it drinking, a crap load of gas or anything crazy like that. But yeah, it's coming together real good. I apologize I did not post a video. I had a lot of headaches. I broke my valve spring compressor, had to run to Star, get a new one. The new one's a lot